Hey, welcome to Cultivating Clarity. We're your hosts, Talei and Ximena, and this is where your journey to self-discovery and fulfillment begins.
In each episode, we are going to explore the worlds of creativity, purpose, and community to bring you inspiring stories and practical advice on how to live a life true to yourself.
So let's get intentional, let's be vulnerable, but most importantly, let's have some fun along the way.
Let's talk about pieces. Let's talk about purpose. Let's talk about listening to the voices deep inside that we have, connecting the pieces together, because I feel like when we talk about purpose, we talk about this big puzzle. And then every time, even you and I talk, I feel like we just come around the little pieces. And in life, we see this often. Honestly, we do it all the time. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples. I feel like often I listen to things that I love. I come across people that are passionate about the same thing. I get inspired from like the same little source over and over again. But why don't we start with a story where maybe you tell me, did you get some pieces? Did you see some links? Did you find some themes? And what did you do with them?
Oh, yes. I think there are these common little threads that run through our lives that are really important to pay attention to. And sometimes they don't make sense, right? Like sometimes they just don't make sense. And I think what I've learned and what I learned this week, right?
Yeah.
Was this understanding about who I am in these common little threads. So an example from my life is there's part of me, part of my personality that is very structured and very detail orientated, I used to be an aircraft engineer, and so there's part of me that is very that way inclined, right? Very
Right.
structured, very ordered. Then there's this other part of me that is this free spirit that just wants to like go with the flow and just feel my way through life. And I've often wondered, like I've always seen these two threads and I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm like these two like completely polar opposite people.
Right.
Right? That doesn't make sense to me. And then this thread that you're talking about, these common themes, has shown up in the work that I've done. So I started my career as an aircraft engineer. And then I was like, oh, I want to work with people, not things. And so then I went into community development.
Okay.
Right? And so when I tell people that, they're just like, what? Like it doesn't even make sense. But this is what I learned this week. This is hot off the press. Is part of who I am is a bridge, right? Part of my purpose is to connect the dots. It's one of my highest strengths. If you look at Clifton's strengths, I see the connections between all things.
Yeah.
Bridge, connections between all things. And my purpose is to help people connect the dots between where they are and where they want to be, right? So now I do that in my work as a coach. But it's taken me 20 years, right? I've had this realization this week of like, these two things that seemed polar opposite,
they actually connect.
They're either side of the bridge.
Yeah.
They're either side of the bridge because my purpose is to help people connect on either side of those, with each other, with their purpose, etc. So that is how I've seen it play out in my life, of following these threads and why they are absolutely vital to pay attention to. Yeah.
That is so cool. I totally see how you do that because you have got that brain and you have got that spirit. So every conversation with you is both practical yet so freeing. So I love that. I love that so much. That's so cool.
what have you noticed in your journey so far? As you've gone along, what are some of those threads? You mentioned books, you mentioned, these different themes. What have
Yeah.
you been picking up?
Do you know, I think I could go in many different ways, but I'm just going to be very visual with this example. I love plants and I love gardens. And this is just a theme in my life that I see everywhere. Everywhere where I am and in every environment I am, I want to create a garden-like feel. I like the sense of nature and I like the sense of, oh, plants and freshness around me. But I also like, and I've found constantly the thought of planting something and cultivating something being a theme. So I've dug a little bit deeper into it and I find myself cultivating spaces, creating spaces, but also coming up with seeds of ideas and creating an atmosphere or a place for them and then watering those seeds. I find myself doing that. So I think that theme has talked to me about the way I work, the way I process, but also the atmosphere and the setup that I enjoy creating.
Oh,
Is everywhere. So yeah, I wonder about like our friends, What about you guys? What do you see around you?
yeah.
What is everywhere? What are some of the things that you are passionate about or the little links that you
Yeah.
notice? Um,
You know
and
what
tell,
else is part of
yeah,
this? The other part of this is, what are the things you find yourself dreaming about? That's the
right,
other piece. Like, what are the
right.
things you find yourself dreaming about? And that's a really special place to connect
Mm,
to and to listen to as well, you know?
right. And I love what you mentioned before about your skills and your personality
Mm-hmm.
because they will all connect. They will all have like a specific strength. And
Yeah.
when you dig deeper on your strengths, you find, oh, I have these skills. And then I want to challenge all of us right here because alongside, it would often come a desire to solve a problem or to be part of making a difference or unlocking something. It's as if that key that we have, that we hold, is there for a reason for us to unlock something.
Mm.
And I'm passionate about this conversation and I want you to tell me, why do you think this is important? Because like from right now, I see, oh my goodness, this could determine networking, this could determine community, but why does it do, Talei, inside of us? And I know you're great at this. So what does it do in us and what does it do outside when we
Oof.
connect all these threads? When we dig deeper and yeah, what do you reckon?
I think it brings enormous alignment and clarity. And when you discover this and when you start to live in this, there's just this peace that comes over your life. It comes over your work, it comes over everything, and it makes the challenging pieces of your life, right?
Yeah,
Because we're going to have challenges. It's
yeah,
part of it, right? So when challenges are coming, don't whinge about it. Just know that it's part of the process and celebrate it.
right.
Right? We can celebrate and go, "Oh, cool, like this is really challenging." But when you start to join those dots, I think that is when you can move through those challenges and go, "Okay, this challenge is okay because I know that it's part of that journey." And I think having people around you that see your purpose and
Yes.
see you
Yeah,
is really powerful, because you, like, as I shared, you were like, yeah, no, I totally see that. Like, you see that in
yeah,
me. And when
yeah,
you were sharing and you're like, I cultivate these spaces, I plant these seeds, and I'm like, you really do. Like, in
yeah,
everything that you do all the time. And I think even that is such a big piece. One, being able to identify who you are, what makes you you, what makes you unique, and being able to give voice to it. That's a big piece. That's a huge piece. But then to have people around you who love you, who see those things in you and can go, yeah, you totally do that.
Right.
Is so important and so powerful.
That's it. And we want to create that space, don't we? We want this to be that sofa, that little couch, that conversation with a cup of tea, where we allow everybody that's right here with us to ask those questions. We ask ourselves right now these questions, and we're gonna have a little moment of activation today, which I'm so excited about. And you, Talei, you're gonna lead us into this moment, and you're gonna maybe ask the questions or just tell us a little bit of how do we direct our thoughts on that direction. How could we turn the lights on and then start to see all the little dots? And so tell us, how are we going to do this today?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to take the pressure off everyone, because when we're talking about purpose, when we're talking about alignment, it is such a big topic. It's such a big question, and it's really the core question that we are all asking throughout our lives. Who am I? What am I here for? What's my purpose? What's the reason? And so that is such a big concept. And I shared, a snippet of something that I learned this week, March 2024, around, oh my goodness, I've seen these threads, but I made a connection, a piece connected this week, and it allowed me to have an aha moment, right? So let's start there by going, it's a process. It's a process. But what I want to do is I want to do this activation, right? And I invite all of us to do this activation together. And what we're going to do is we're going to totally relax, and we're going to engage our imagination, okay? Now, our imagination, I want you to know this. We're often taught at school and as little kids, like, your imagination, you make up your make-believe friends, da-da-da. And we kind of like say, don't use that part of your mind. But your imagination is actually one of your higher faculties, and it lives in your conscious mind. And so it lives in the same place that your reason lives, your ability to choose, your will, your ability to focus. Like, it's a core piece of who you are. And when you learn to harness this and use it, it's mind-boggling what happens. So I want to invite you into this space. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to activate your imagination. And it's super easy. It's super easy, and it's just super fun. So we're just going to do 60 seconds together. Okay. So just invite you to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Take another deep breath in. Hold for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do one more big breath in. Hold at the top. And as you exhale, just relax a little bit more. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to just notice where your mind goes. Here's the question. If you had no financial concerns and you were in total control of your life, what would your days look like? Just let your imagination wander. Just notice what comes to your mind. Just enjoy this space. Just do another 20 seconds. If you're seeing a picture in your mind, I want to encourage you to go and explore it, or to watch it however it's showing up for you. And when you're ready, just come back. Come back in, and I want you to notice, just take note. Take note of what came up for you during that little activation. And a question I have for you is, have you dreamed about this before? Have you thought about it? If so, how long has this dream, this idea kind of been in your mind? And what have you been doing with it? Have you put it on a shelf? When this thought comes up or this idea comes to your mind, what do you do with it? What story do you say? Might sound something like, oh, it's too late to do that. Maybe it sounds like, oh, well, like I just don't have time because kids, work, different priorities. Maybe it sounds like, oh, well, if only this was a different way, then I could. If only this person wasn't sick, then I could. If only I had my house paid off, then I could. If only I wasn't in this job, then maybe I could. What are the stories that you're telling yourself when this thought comes to mind? Right? And this is the challenge that we have for you, is write it down. Write it down. Pay attention and write it down. And I want to invite you to go back to this space. Make a time this week to go back, relax, and just go back into this space. Just totally relax. And something to know about using your imagination is you can only access it when you're totally relaxed. When you do go into this space, whether it's through prayer or meditation or like simply relaxing, dreaming, enjoying, this is the place where you start to get solutions for things. You start to get the ideas. You start to get you get the little pieces, right? So using your imagination is not just for little kids. It's for every single one of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to encourage you to engage it and use it and to pay attention to that little thought, that little idea that came up as we did that activation. Because I have a feeling it will have some keys about your purpose in it. Yeah.
How exciting. Can I just say that the moment I closed my eyes and the moment I relaxed, the first thoughts that came to mind were the most sweet thoughts about giving and helping others.
Oh.
And I'm thinking, how powerful is that?
Yeah.
How powerful is that? The moment I forgot about any worries, the first instinct was, oh, who could I go and help?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, isn't that the mindset that these really powerful CEO people have? Isn't that the mindset that the people that go out and change the world one way or another have? That is so powerful. And I love how you said, go and practice this. Like, this is our call to action. Go and do it again. Write things down. And then you said, this is going to bring clarity. Like, this is going to bring so much clarity. And that's the goal. That's what we want. We want to cultivate clarity. We want to bring solutions. We want to bring those dreams and turn them into, weapons and keys. And I'm excited about exploring as a community what possibilities, like what networking could come out of this.
Yeah, that's good.
Because when we dig deeper into desires that are not selfish and are not conditioned, I feel like we find ourselves in a very powerful place where we are able to connect with that peace in other people.
Ooh.
And I feel like that is going to be a whole new way of friendship, and community. And so.
I love that so much. Yeah, there's so much more connection that can come out of this. And it's really expansive when you start to tap into this place, when you start to pay attention to those little things that delight your heart that come up over and over again.
Yeah.
It starts to expand. It starts to include more people. It has this ripple effect, which is really, really powerful.
Yeah. Wow. Well, this has been an incredible conversation, Talei, and we actually put it into practice today, which was so fun. Are there any thoughts that you would like us to take away with us, or that you would like to close this conversation with?
Yes. So I guess kind of final thoughts and to wrap up would be, know that this conversation around purpose and finding it, discovering it, it's a big one. Our stories have really exemplified the fact that it takes time, and we're still so young, Ximena. We're still so young. Like, I'm very close to 40. How old are you?
30.
30. So we're babies, really.
Yeah.
We're babies, and there is so much more life ahead of us, and we're only just starting to catch pieces. But it's taken this long to catch the pieces that we have, to be able to share with the confidence that we have, to be able to speak and say, this is who I am. That takes time. So the first piece is be kind to yourself.
Yes.
Be kind to yourself. Relax into this space. Relax.
Oh my gosh.
Know that these threads are in you, so you don't have to go looking for them. They're already in you, so just pay attention.
Right.
And as you discover this, what is going to open up in your life is this alignment, clarity, peace.
Yeah.
This peace. And that will actually help you move through any challenges that come your way, because you're going to be in alignment. You're going to be in alignment with who you truly are.
Yeah.
That's a powerful piece. It's powerful.
Do you know, it is so powerful that before we go, I just want to challenge all of us to compare very quickly. I want you to compare the corporate system out there, the competition. When you go out there and you meet somebody, you're like, okay, so what do you do? Oh, I work for this and I do that. What would the conversation be like if the question was, hey, what are you passionate about?
Yeah.
What's on your heart? Okay, I'd like you to just take that, because that just blew my mind just now. I'm thinking like, whoa, out there is a lot of heaviness and tension and competition. Right here, you don't have to compete with anybody. Okay? This is not a performance. This is not about how much you can achieve. This is about who you are, and you are loved. Okay? And so when you sit in that place, please remember that you are loved. You have been created in a beautiful way. And the real you is the best gift that this planet could have. The real you. We love you. Thank you for listening. And we can't wait to see what the next episode is going to be about. So, have a great day. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Talei. Mwah.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Cultivating Clarity. We hope you found some inspiration, had a good laugh, and maybe found a new perspective. Make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with our latest episodes. And if there was something you particularly liked in this show, please share it with a friend. We'd also love to connect with you on social, so come and find us at Intentional Studios and I Am the Freedom Collective for more fun and insights. Links are going to be in the show notes.
And if you have a topic that you would like us to cover, drop us a message or a comment. And remember to keep cultivating your clarity and appreciate the small joys in life. See you next time. Bye-bye.